Victoria's government has apologised after their new border permit system hit major delays overnight, forcing stranded residents to wait even longer before leaving New South Wales. Joining me live now is Albury Mayor Kevin Mack, who's right on that border there between New South Wales and Victoria. Mayor, thanks for your time this afternoon. This new traffic light system, it was meant to help people. It's already hit a snag, delayed more than 3 hours. Is this just yet more confusion?
Oh, look, I think you've overlaid the New South Wales border closure with this one. I think people's patience is being severely tested. And speaking to my mayors along the river now, I mean, businesses are broken, families are busted, and this whole scenario, listening to Greg Hunt then, yes, we've done a great job controlling this virus, but gee, there's going to be some broken families and broken people at the end of all this border closure.
Now, when we last chatted on New Year's Day, you were extremely frustrated as that hard border came up. Does this new system actually resolve any of your issues?
No, look, not at all. I think, again, it's just a way of Daniel putting in place another layer of control. And essentially, he's on note saying yesterday that he'll have this border closure in play until they have a fully vaccinated state. I don't know what that means at this point, because that's a long projection in terms of the guidelines and the timelines involved. And for us as a border community, again, we are looking at when are we going to be shut down till, what's the roadmap for recovery? And we had a month where we looked like we were going to recover, then the rug got pulled out from underneath our feet and we're nowhere now. So we don't know what we're supposed to be doing and where we're supposed to be doing it, because the communication level from our government is negligible. And our government is not the Victorian government. From all levels of government, we've had very little communication with anyone.
Now, when we last spoke, you wanted the federal government to step in and get this resolved. Have you had any sign of that occurring, or any hope, I guess, from that end of things?
Oh, look, I just find it quite ironic that the three states that are making all the noise with Gladys-Berejiklian's decision-making are Labor states. And I think at some point our community deserve a government that's actually working for their community. And I think the only one that is currently working are their local governments right across Australia. But the federal government seems to be working, and they need to put something in play that is actually going to give us confidence as a community across Australia to look forward to the future. Because at the moment, the future is looking still very bleak for us here in the border communities, because we still have no indication when this border is going to be lifted. We still have no indication about what a roadmap is for the states, and even I believe the colour or the colour system or the traffic light system that was brought in was a decision of the National Cabinet last week. We weren't brought into that discussion. So again, who's telling who? We don't know, and I really think that's where the confusion lies for a lot of our community. If we don't know, who does?
Now, you've said you've been speaking to other mayors throughout those border communities. What's the feeling among them? Is it very similar to what you're going through?
Oh, look, down in the smaller communities where they rely upon tourism and they rely upon that cross-border trade. I was speaking to the Mayor of Murray River this morning, and he said, I'm walking down the street, people are breaking down, they're broken, their spirit is broken, they've just got nothing to look forward to. Moama and Echuca, it's gridlocked the whole all day, every day. It doesn't matter how many cars are in the queue or how many trucks are there. So even when the border was closed with New South Wales, no one could resolve that issue. And that's just a byproduct of a border closure. But those smaller communities, Albury-Wodonga has a chance to recover. It's just those businesses and the families that invested in those communities, they're broken and their spirit is slowly ebbing away. I just don't think people in our capital cities understand the pressure our border communities have been under. 138 days from the New South Wales government, so far another 31 days from this, or less than 31 days from the Victorian government, and yet our New South Wales government offers restaurant vouchers to communities in the North Shore. I mean, really? One of the most affluent suburbs of Sydney, and they're offering $100 restaurant vouchers so people use the restaurants. What about my border community? What about our communities on both sides of the river? We get very little consideration, and that's where that whole setting starts. Give us some attention and give us some love.